Sometimes you get a really good idea for a trip, but planning can be so overwhelming you don't even know where to start. My name is Maddie, and I've been to about 20 countries and the 48 lower US states, and I want to show you how I plan today. The example I'm going to show you is a van trip because I live in a minivan, but I think these tips can apply to any trip. First, let me give you some general information, and then I'll show you an example how I planned my trip to Idaho, and then I'll show you how that plan worked out. The biggest piece of advice I can give you is to make researching and saving websites or taking notes part of your daydreaming. And the time spent thinking about how excited you are about a trip, why not flip through websites on your phone? When I started out traveling, I would think of planning as kind of like homework, but now I think of it as like a fun thing to do, and that's made a world of difference. Also, you can stay organized in your planning by using a map. I like to hold a piece of paper up to a screen, and then before that turn up the screen brightness, but very carefully and gently trace the outline of, wherever you are, and that way you have your own simple map right in front of you. There's also technological ways, like I think you can save pins on Google Maps and make lists. Anything that can help you visualize the places you want to do things, and then you can pick a place to stay that's central to all of those and plan out your days from there. Now let's talk which resources to use. For finding ideas, the possibilities are endless. You could use Pinterest, YouTube, just Googling, TikTok, TripAdvisor, look in books and magazines, talk to your friends, talk to your enemies. To find hikes to go on, I like to use AllTrails. To find campsites, I use ioverlander. For converted vans, tent camping, RVs, there's tons and tons of resources out there to find campsites and stays. However, I think ioverlander is the best personally because it has the most free campsites on there. For finding hotels and hostels, I like booking.com because it gives you some really good deals. If I'm not driving somewhere, I'll use the app Rome to Rio to calculate how to get someplace fastest. If I am driving, I just use Google Maps. It's also really good for looking up, like when you're out and about and you need a restaurant or a gas station, just on the go information, you know what I mean? Also, I use Google Maps to calculate how long it's going to take to drive someplace, so if it's really long, I can mentally prepare. I also like to look up how much service is in an area before I get there. It makes me feel safer to have contact with the outside world, and to do that, I use an app called Speed Test, and then there's 4 options of things at the bottom. The map function shows you a map of where you're going. Not all areas ever are tested, if you're going somewhere really remote, but usually cities and roads, they'll be tested and it'll show you how strong the service is in that area. Personally, I like finding things that I'm excited to do first and then planning where I'm staying and the logistics from that. Let me show you. Today I'm going to be planning my trip to Idaho, which is coming up next. I've heard of Craters of the Moon State Park, I think it is, and my dad also told me about the Sawtooth Mountains. That's all I've really thought about it so far. So sometimes I sketch out rough maps like this. Sometimes I use my big road atlas. This is already out of date. So instead of keeping it nice and trying to give it away or something later down the road, I'm just going to go ahead and write in it. I'm going to Idaho coming from Nevada, and then I'll be going across to Wyoming next. So I try to keep in mind where can I go that's not the completely opposite corner of the state that I would be going through anyway, trying to save some money on gas. It looks like Craters of the Moon is already at the more south end of the state, so that's a good thing. Oh, and there's Sawtooth National Recreation Area and Sawtooth National Forest. Go to your favorite search engine. I like to use Pinterest because I'm a visual person. I like to see things, and then being able to save it also really helps me come back to it later. By the way, I did start a Beer and Beautiful Places Pinterest page to help people that use Pinterest to search for information, find some of my videos. If you'd like to help me out, it would really help if you went and followed me on there so that more people can see my stuff and I can get the information I've already made out to more people. I'm just typing in it to Pinterest, Sawtooth mountains, hikes. Okay, none of this is about the Sawtooth Mountains so far. Maybe I had to be more specific. Still not seeing what I want. Devil's Tooth, Idaho. Got Devil's Tooth, got Sawtooth. A lot of teeth up there in Idaho. Okay, so Pinterest isn't really helping right now. Let's go to All Trails. I'm gonna go to the map feature. I'm gonna get Idaho on the map. Now that my screen is just the area where I want to go, I'm gonna click sort, and I like to see the most popular stuff, because it's probably popular for a reason. Okay, a moderate 10-mile hike, Sawtooth Lake via Iron something. Hikers call this the quintessential Sawtooth Wilderness hike. Oh, perfect. The comments look like it is a little tough, but beautiful views. Let's look at the photos. Oh man, so pretty. That looks like the Sierras. Okay, it's 10 miles out and back, so that is going to be pretty much a all-day endeavor. And again, I don't like seeing things on a screen, so I'm gonna write it down in a notebook. This is basically my process of finding stuff to do. Look on Pinterest, look on All Trails. You could Google if you wanted, you could look at YouTube, but first just get an idea of places you want to go. I came up with a few ideas of what I wanted to do. There's one trail that I want to do up here, but looks like a lot of cool trails I want to see right here, so I know that's the area I should go to. This one outside of the National Monument sounds like it'll take all day. It's called Bench Lake, or Bench Lakes, plural. There's also a few trails up inside the National Monument that I want to do. It looks like there's one area with a bunch of hikes, so I'll probably just spend one day doing the Bench Lakes trail, and then I can spend the next day just doing a bunch of random day hikes up there. So now that I know what I want to do, also, luckily All Trails will tell you if there is an entrance fee to go to a place. There is $20 per vehicle to get into Craters of the Moon, so I know that I probably just want to spend one day doing that, so I don't have to keep paying $20 every day. And now that I have ideas of what I want to do, I'm done with All Trails, and I'm going to go to ioverlander to find a good camp spot. I like stuff that isn't isolated, like down a dirt road for miles and miles. I'm not really that into it. If it says there's trash, I probably won't go. If there's any report of somebody feeling unsafe there, I probably won't go. Craters of the Moon area, and it looks like there's plenty. Luckily out here in the west, there's so many options usually. Also, what I've learned is that if there's a lot of reviews for a place, it's probably a lot of people have been there, it's definitely open, and it's probably a good place to camp at. Oh, there's BLM land, Bureau of Land Management. It's always free to camp there. I know that there's plenty of places on ioverlander near Craters of the Moon, so that's taken care of. Another detail that I need to think of is how and when I'm going to pick up my mail. There is an outdoor store that I contacted, and they said they could hold some packages for me. Really nice. That's definitely going above and beyond. That's not something outdoor stores usually do, but very nice of them. Between Rigby and Shelley. Oh, that's in Idaho Falls. Okay, so that's a big city near Craters of the Moon, so I'm gonna go there anyway. Now, another thing I want to do in Idaho is eat potatoes. Obviously, I don't have an oven, so I can't make baked potatoes, so I'm gonna have to go to a restaurant. There's a potato museum. It sounds like there's not gonna be a restaurant that specializes in potatoes, but I'm sure I'll just be able to go and find one. Does this museum cost anything? It sure doesn't say if it does. Oh, price for adult entry, $6 to $10. Okay. Well, I don't know if I'm that interested that I want to pay for it, but it's something to keep in the back of my mind of something I could do. So now let's think about where I'm gonna go if I need to take a shower. I put Google Maps on Craters of the Moon over here, Idaho Falls over here, so it's searching the area I'm gonna be in. And I'm gonna type in Planet Fitness, and it looks like there's one in Idaho Falls. Perfect. I know what I'm doing, I know where I'm staying, where I'm eating, where I'm picking up mail, and now I know where I'm showering. So it turned out Bench Lakes and Craters of the Moon are in 2 different areas. They're a few hours apart. I could have gone to one and then the other, but since it's getting colder, I didn't want to spend that much time up in Idaho, so what I did was just chose Bench Lakes, and I'll save Craters of the Moon for another day. I just chose that because that was the one I was really looking forward to. But that's a good example though, because sometimes you're gonna write stuff down wrong, sometimes the information you find online will be outdated, but that wasn't really too much of a big deal. I just looked up a new place to stay, new place to shower, all that. It wasn't bad. You just gotta think on your feet. If there's more about planning that you want to know, please ask away. I'll try to answer all your questions. If you're an experienced traveler, what do you use that I haven't mentioned yet? Maybe there's something I don't know about. Thank you for watching this video. If you could follow my new Pinterest page, that would really help me out. Have a good day. Bye.